Imagine if the most astute decision you make today is to let others assume you are just ordinary. The Renaissance thinker Niccolò Machiavelli, the brain behind The Prince, was acutely aware of the merits of being underestimated. "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are," he stated. Essentially, when rivals perceive your abilities to be limited, they lower their defenses, disclose their strategies, and wage a battle against the wrong enemy, leaving the real battleground yours for the taking. In today's episode of the Deep Dive Psychology podcast, we will transform this knowledge into a subtle strategy applicable at work, in negotiations, and even in friendly competitions. You'll learn to combine the cunning patience of the fox with the covert strength of the lion, understand how low expectations fabricate advantages, and grasp the art of a perfectly timed revelation that shifts perceptions before reactions set in. Join me as we explore how to allow others to underestimate you, then achieve victory so quietly they remain puzzled when the contest began. Brazen brilliance is a magnet for sabotage. Once people label you as an emerging threat, they begin their counter-moves. Insidious criticisms during meetings, whispered offices, and impossible deadlines set as traps. Machiavelli understood this from Florentine political dynamics. Leaders who displayed wealth and intelligence united envious factions determined to undermine them. His solution was intricate: mask your brilliance in public but focus its intensity in privacy. When colleagues assume you are nondescript, they relax. They speak candidly about budgets, timelines, and conflicts because you pose no threat. They welcome you into sanctuaries barred to sharper rivals, thinking you have little input. Every underestimation becomes an opportunity for clandestine insight. As they converse, you map out power networks, identify who really approves expenditures, recognize stalled projects, and find out where decisions are gridlocked. The psychology is simple. Humans navigate by mental shortcuts. If your resume suggests a support role, they categorize you as a non-threat. This classification is fortified by confirmation bias. Even when you offer an insightful comment, it is credited to chance. This is your disguise, just enough competence to be helpful, never so much to appear dangerous. But underestimation does more than gather information. It also lessens the height of the bar you must surpass. Promise a mountain and deliver a hill, and you've failed. Promise a hill and unveil a mountain, and you become a legend. Low expectations convert common performance into surprising genius. It's akin to judo, using their assumptions against them, creating an advantage with minimal effort. Begin testing this today. Tone down the self-congratulatory facts on your resume. Let others boast while you inquire. Offer to take on tasks a notch below your potential. Complete them effortlessly ahead of time, and observe as superiors start re-evaluating your worth. When accolades are given, deflect with humility. Each modest gesture invites them to continue underestimating you, maintaining the cycle until you choose to disclose your full capability. Embrace Machiavelli's fundamental lesson. True power is not loud. It listens, accumulates, and readies itself. Allow others to misjudge you. That misjudgment is the void where your silent triumph will emerge. Machiavelli's iconic metaphor is the partnership of the fox and the lion. The fox survives by avoiding snares, the lion by intimidating opponents. To win silently, merge both. Outwardly, move like a fox. Tread lightly, speak softly, pose questions instead of making boasts. Internally, harness the lion's might. Develop skills, allies, resources, and alternatives. People only perceive the fox, as the lion never roars until the prey is secure. Apply the fox's disguise first. Condense your introductions, emphasize just enough to earn a place at the table, never the entire portfolio. In discussions, ask illuminating questions that prompt others to elaborate. Let them feel insightful while they disclose hidden information. Maintain open body language, slight nods, occasional palm exposure, relaxed posture. These signals transmit harmless, causing vocal players to lower their defenses and speak freely. Meanwhile, the lion remains unseen. Spend lunch breaks honing the skills they assume you lack, or meeting discreetly with an influential figure outside the hierarchy. Keep a secret emergency budget. Record every promise others make, every deadline they miss, evidence you can use if cornered. Preserve peak physical health, as stamina is often the key to outlasting others during intense periods. When pressure mounts, the fox mask remains composed while the lion's strength bears the weight. At the critical moment, during a presentation, a contract negotiation, or a crisis, reveal just enough prowess to alter the room's dynamics. Colleagues will blink, realizing they misread you, but by then your victory is assured. Once others perceive you as non-threatening, they become fountains of candid information. Machiavelli utilized this reflex in court politics. Courtiers spoke freely around him, convinced the silent clerk was harmless. You can replicate this tactic with two simple approaches: prompt, then pause. Prompt by asking questions that appear curious, flattering their expertise. How did you secure that agreement? What's the real stumbling block in this department? Everyone loves feeling like an insider. They'll share names, figures, and timelines not listed in official records. Pause means resist the urge to interject. Wait 2 full beats. After they finish speaking, most will fill the silence with additional details they hadn't planned to share. The fox's approachable demeanor encourages oversharing. The lion within is busy taking notes. Utilize those notes to generate influence by organizing them in a 3-column log. Column 1, date and source. Who said what and where? Column 2, raw intelligence. Key phrases, project deadlines, hidden alliances. Column 3, action link. How this data could support future moves, an early bid, a discreet warning to an ally, or a strategically timed budget proposal. Review the log weekly. Patterns emerge: which executive signs purchase orders, which co-worker leaks updates before formal announcements, which competitor always launches on Fridays. With each pattern, your ability to predict grows, and prediction equates to subtle influence. Decisions made before rivals recognize they are lagging. Practice in informal settings. At a networking event, inquire, what caught you off guard this quarter? Then sip your drink, smile, and allow them to detail their supply chain mishap. During a team call, say, I'm curious about how that timeline developed. Mind explaining the process. Screens illuminate, slide decks unfold, and you gain access to maps others aim to keep concealed. Remember, there is no need to flaunt your knowledge. Information holds more weight when conveyed silently. Later, when stakes are high, you'll reference a fact unknown to others, shape the discussion, and watch as realization dawns that they revealed sensitive insights in your seemingly benign company. Expectations are the invisible architects of reputation. Set them exorbitantly high, and even competent work looks mediocre. Set them low, and a modest success appears as if it were golden. Machiavelli capitalized on this disparity by quietly lowering expectations publicly while enhancing performance privately. This mismatch delivers a rare psychological satisfaction, pleasant surprise, and turns skeptics into allies overnight. Consider a product manager telling the leadership team, "We might roll out a beta in 8 weeks." Privately, she knows her internal projections show 6 weeks. Executives nod, allocate budgets, and manage their expectations. Behind closed doors, she pushes her engineers hard, though discreetly. 6 weeks later, the live beta is on screens ahead of schedule. Accolades flow, budgets expand, and the manager's influence multiplies, not from performing miracles, but by writing the initial narrative with restraint. Under-promising is not about deceit. It is about selecting conservative goals visible to the public while you secretly craft enhanced versions. Start modestly. When asked for a timeline, factor in a buffer you know you'll surpass. Submit a report 2 days before the revised deadline, not 2 days after a demanding one expected by others. When showcasing preliminary ideas, present version 1 in meetings, keeping version 2 in storage. If a stakeholder questions, "Is that all?" Unveiling version 2 as an additional effort instantaneously shifts sentiment from skeptics to admiration. This method protects you as well. If unforeseen challenges arise, you still meet or exceed the stated deadline. Failure remains hidden, success is elevated. Over time, colleagues start cognitively adjusting any promise you make upward. If she estimates 8 weeks, it's likely 6. Their rising confidence shields you. With their guard lowered, your work arena remains quietly productive. Use metrics to embed the surprise in their minds. When you deliver a project early, include a simple note, completed 14% ahead of schedule. The figure solidifies the achievement and remains in records long after excitement wanes. Each data-stamped victory raises the baseline expectation, granting you leverage to request resources or seek autonomy without pleading, because in their view, you've demonstrated the return on investment. Under-promise, over-deliver. It's a silent rhythm. Keep the melody gentle, save the crescendo for the unveiling, and relish the applause from an audience unaware of late-night rehearsals. Project an almost barren public ledger while your private coffers steadily enrich. That is Machiavelli's most secure strategy. Appear resource poor, so auditors and competitors glance casually and move on. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, you accrue capital, financial, social, and strategic, in layers invisible to the eye. Financial capital: live one step below your earnings. Direct the difference to an automated investment account labeled Silent Fund. No social media boasting, no new car sent, just continuous growth. The day an opportunity appears, seed money for a venture, A quiet fund embodies a life without flamboyant displays, devoid of conspicuous consumption like luxury car purchases. This fund thrives on steady growth, enabling decisive action when opportunities, such as a streamlined investment or an attractive property, inevitably appear. In this grand scheme, cleverness whispers frugality, while liquidity roars with hidden potential. This philosophy of social capital encourages discreet networking, eschewing fanfare to accumulate small debts of gratitude. Assist a designer in refining a portfolio, bridge a gap between a friend and a recruiter, facilitate introductions that end in mutual benefit. Maintain no expectation of returns, yet catalogue these favors on a succinct IOU spreadsheet. Where others might forget a gesture within weeks, your memory spans years. When you have to call in a favor, doors will swing eagerly on well-oiled hinges. In the realm of knowledge capital, safeguard foundational documents, keep abreast of market analyses, and store strategic shortcuts securely. Subscribe to the specialist insights which others overlook, and enroll in quarterly classes while bypassing the urge to display achievements with online badges. Knowledge hoarded quietly becomes double the leverage. You stay miles ahead because they assume your information is shared. Fortify your resilience capital by developing overlapping skills. A breadth of competencies acts as insurance against shifting roles, offering readiness for transitions without disruption. Whether learning coding basics to manage marketing teams or grasping financial principles to elevate product design, mastering auxiliary skills equips you with backup engines, promoted stealthy and unannounced. If corporate change occurs, maneuver easily while others scramble. Moreover, in meetings, practice the art of modest expenditure by underselling your budgetary needs. Demonstrate an ability to achieve goals with minimal resources. Frugality wins favor. Leaders funnel surplus resources to those promising thrift. Accept these additional resources, over-deliver, and save excess capacity for the next pivotal project. Over time, these concealed reserves coalesce, outwardly painting you as a reliable player while internally solidifying a pyramid of possibilities. When a crisis strikes or a leadership opportunity arises, tap into these discrete reserves, cash, favors, knowledge, resilience, and meet the moment fully prepared. What others perceive as sudden success is actually the result of years of silent, methodical work. Conceal the majority of your strengths, displaying only a fraction, until that singular, precise moment that rewrites the narrative others hold of you. Like Machiavelli, timeless in his mastery of revelation, reveal power, progress, or insight intentionally, upending expectations before rivals can retaliate. Think of a submarine, mostly submerged, with only the periscope visible yet exerting control over the horizon. Adopt a practice of silent progression. When developing software, maintain a simple interface while enhancing complex back-end functions. Secretly improve your skills in private, avoiding the distractions of public corridors. Record every advancement in a personal log, ensuring you understand the richness of your abilities, even while the surface remains unassuming. Set your own benchmarks, perhaps at 90%, before unveiling. Choose impactful settings for these reveals, quarterly reviews, industry meetups, or board presentations. Present a polished end product unexpectedly. When a marketing team anticipates a draft, dazzle with a fully functional prototype. Shatter preconceptions when a new interactive dashboard thrives unexpectedly. Such surprises create a psychological ripple, halting challenge and sparking curiosity. How did you achieve that? Becoming an invitation to frame the narrative on your terms. Timing is crucial. unveil prematurely and critics dissect, delayed reveals might lose the element of surprise. Let stakeholder distractions or competitor commitments guide your timing. Release the finished asset, then retreat silently into continued innovation. Avoid letting applause drive ego. After acknowledgements, revert quickly to concealment. Let the world remember the leap, not maintenance. Navigate between private mastery and public revelation, preserving room for surprise. Gaps always linger between perception and authentic self. Machiavelli filled these spaces with fabricated tales guiding observers away from his hidden strategies. You can emulate this, narrating modest origins when discussing triumphs. I followed a template, fortune favored me. This narrative consoles, suggesting replicability while concealing rigorous effort. Amid these gentle myths, maintain an ethical boundary, divert attention through optics, not misleading commitments. Misleading narratives lose power if they erode trust. True stagecraft guides the audience's gaze as the genuine work proceeds backstage. Develop a narrative depicting capability paired with humility, leading rivals to contend with the facade you present, rather than the strategist within. When revelations align with your choice, opponents are left stranded by the unfolding plot. Approach each morning with a silent victory. Before others engage, undertake an unassuming task progressing significant goals. Send a discreet email, refine a project plan, squirrel away money for your quiet fund. Integrate it privately, refraining from disclosure. This unnoticed accomplishment sets a tone of progress devoid of flourish. At midday, apply the principle of inquiry over assertion. Strive for dialogue with 2 questions to each statement, cultivating disclosure while concealing intentions. How did you tackle that problem? What helps with budgeting? These queries entice conversations to flow, revealing strategies while your plans remain obscured. Come nightfall, conduct a brief personal audit. Document 3 instances where your strength stayed unexposed, an understated ability, a preserved resource, an unnoticed insight. Envision the leverage they afford. Close the record, hide it away, resting assured new silent victories form an alliance for tomorrow. Routine morphs these practices into simplicity, a quiet morning win, an inquiry-led dialogue at noon, a nightly self-review. Gradually, the impact magnifies, information circulates effortlessly, energy retention surges, while your unseen advantage grows sharper, manifesting the fox's still face as it secretly hones lion-like acumen. Mastering the art of cultivating underestimation, gathering useful intel from unguarded peers, stockpiling hidden assets, and exerting strategic power precisely, allows you to steer narratives in your favor. For the next 3 days, engage every faculty on low visibility, focus on high inquiry, and deliver a single result upending expectations silently. Then, retreat into the shadows as the reverberations carry on. If you accept this challenge, affirm with silent win in kind. Subscribe for more Renaissance steering tactics adapted for modern existence, knowing beneath the quiet facade lies the true depth of advantage.